So one thing we know about each other is that you have a PS5 and I don't have a PS5, right? That's where we're at right now. And
For now, yes.
I eventually I probably will get a PS5 or an Xbox Series X. One or the other will happen soon. But the one thing I don't have to worry about right now as a U.S. citizen is the price going up. Because besides U.S. or only U.S., everywhere in different regions basically are getting a price increase on the PS5. We're talking about Canada. We're talking about Europe, like the UK. We're talking about Japan, because due to their reason is inflation that Sony has said. And they're basically going with the market. The market, everybody's saying everything's going up, so we're going to go up too. But a lot of people are upset about it because the fact that the only time you do really inflation of your prices if you think you're struggling, or
Yeah.
and maybe to them they're struggling because they can't make these consoles enough in time or whatever. I don't know the ridiculous reason is, but Sony's not is not losing enough money to raise this price up. But before I put my opinion in, Jerron, what's your opinion on this crazy inflation decision that Sony did on PS5s? Besides here,
in the market, it essentially is everywhere aside from the U.S. It is all of Europe, all of the UK, Japan, starting in September, China, Australia, Mexico, and our friends in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane. So I will say, I smell BS. So inflation, is it inflation of the prices of the parts? Some of the same parts that Microsoft and Nintendo are acquiring, particularly Microsoft, the GPU? I don't know. I don't think so. Or is it the fact that Sony is doing this because they know they can do it? And how convenient that they are raising the price of this in a lot of different areas right before the release of one of their most anticipated games, God of War Ragnarok. So the supply situation is still kind of not ideal. A lot of the smaller town Walmarts around here still have stacks of PS5s. I've seen it as of 3 days ago. That would be the 23rd of August.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think the supply is that bad, and a local entrepreneur is able to secure you a PS5 almost every other day. You just got to pay a little surcharge. So I call BS. It's about the same kind of inflation as a lot of these other companies who are raising their prices way beyond the scope of inflation. And they're just saying it's because of inflation. Inflation has given an excuse for greedy companies to be greedy. That's all I got to say.
I think it's interesting because I think a lot of people agree, this is the very and only console cycle we ever have where a price went up. That is not
after 2 years.
Doesn't matter, and just in general, right? And
Yeah.
just the fact that it's upgraded, but there's no benefit. Most of the time, if you upgrade a price, there should be benefit. The only time we have the most expensive console from the big three is the PS3, I would argue, but that came with a PS2. But that came with a PS2 built
and
into
PS1.
it. Well, the reason I excluded PS1 because when they took the PS2 away, you could still play PS1 games on there.
Yeah.
So the big up price was for the PS2, but now the newer models will have it. But at least the price got cut from that, right? That's the difference. And other consoles, even like Nintendo, the king of let's make so many goddamn models, never really went upper the price per se without a special feature with it. Even with the new 3DS, they had the little thumb analog thing on it that was a little more expensive, C-stick or whatever. I mean, yeah, in the price, but at least it came with a feature of something to do it. Do we see PlayStation 5 doing something extra with this inflation? Are we going to get like an extra built-in game? Are there going to be a new added in membership, like a 6-month membership card? You're laughing because I know it's not going to happen, but I still got to go ask these questions. Anyways, do we get that? Do we get a free digital game inside or something like that? Probably not. Probably not, and that really sucks in that way because just to kind of get out of the way, people did reach out to Xbox and Nintendo, and so far that we know, they have basically kind of just said they're not raising the price. Basically, they're remaining the price that they say. That doesn't mean that it's forever. They're just saying for the time being, they're saying that anything can change after the holidays, right? Because I think the holidays will be a make it or break it for these consoles to see what happens. Especially like Xbox, I might see. Nintendo, I think it's going to be a hard pill to swallow. Especially they're the ones doing successful. I mean, they're close of, if not by now, close to beating the PS4 in record sales. It's getting there.
Especially since Sony stopped production of them.
Yeah. So, Nintendo ain't hurting too bad where they need to raise the price or anything like that, in my opinion. Xbox, maybe that's a different story because they did buy so many studios. So maybe that is a possibility like down the road. I'm not 100% sure on it. But I think what is interesting is Japan got hit. Because Sony and Japan have been in this weird fiasco going on. All the Japanese studios being cut off. All of them closing down. Now they're raising the price over there. That's a little crazy going on with Japan. I honestly thought it was going to be U.S. and Japan that wouldn't get hit with this. But honestly, no region deserves this whatsoever. Especially, there's not enough in stock to really push this. And then you now gave scalpers a reason to keep the price of the ridiculousness that they were trying to keep it.
Yeah.
It's like $1,000. Well, makes sense now. Okay, so...
Yeah, and the kicker is there's no reason. The GPU drought is done. I'm not saying all the silicon components are plentiful, but you could go get a GPU, almost whatever GPU you want, just fine. Crypto crash took care of that. Anybody who wants one can get one, so people aren't hankering to buy them up. NVIDIA is in trouble because they're not reporting crypto sales for that. So it can't be because silicon supplies are low. It can't be because it is, unless it is some undisclosed reason behind the scenes. It's just pure greed. If it's not undisclosed reason, it is pure greed. The fact they know they can get away with it. Because there's no law that says you can't raise the price of your stuff.
So I'm curious to see what's going to happen for the holidays for Sony, especially, with the Black Friday. The Black Friday is going to be to definitely make it or break it for them with this price. Because, and I'm not speaking because for us, I'm speaking more for, everywhere else. Because, I'm not saying every region has their own Black Friday, but I'm kind of curious of like what our sales are going to be like if they decide to put that on a sale for a special day or something. Is the special sale price going to be the normal price it was? That's the sale price, Because we talked about the up price was about, compared to UK, about like, I think about $60 or $70 more, give or take.
Yeah. What this is going to cause is a run on people are trying to scramble to get it now before the price change goes into effect. So that's also another calculated announcement.
But we're not asking the really important question here. The most important question is Sony thinking about a new model coming in later on in the cycle of the PlayStation 5, right? Because we always get at least another model. We had the Pro with the PS4. PS5 is going to have that, or not have. I expect them to have another model coming soon. Is that going to be a slimmer model that will hit the price differently? Is that going to be more of a better performance? Like, that's the most important question I wonder, because there's been rumor talk of a new PlayStation 5 model. So it's wondering, like, is this going to be a new model like, like my PS3 Slim? You're taking away something to replace it with something else. I don't know. Jerron, what's your opinion on that?
If we're talking about are they going to do it? Well, yeah. Is it because of this? I don't know. It's an odd tactic to raise the price.
Not the. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase it. I'm not asking is this the reason for a new model. I'm asking if a new model comes out, because I think it's going to happen.
No, I'm saying it's of course it's going to come out. The question is when, and I'm adding an additional qualifier to this of it is an odd reason to increase the price of your existing base models. Now, if they have a new model, because I'm a fan of assuming companies are going to do dumbass things, they're going to probably say, it's digital only.
I agree with that. Yeah, I can agree with that.
So so even if they come with a new, slimmer, sexier model, I'm going to be really hyped, regardless, because I bought a disc edition for a reason. And Sony's going to do what Sony's going to do, but it's just a very bizarre business decision.
Do you think
and a PR decision?
Do you think it might be an S model? You know what I mean? Like it won't be like 4K. It could be just kind of like a cheap digital one, a cheaper one that can all go up to 200, like 1400 p. FPS. Do you think they might do a model like that, like an Xbox S?
I don't think. They could. I would be intrigued to see how developers would take it, because that means they have to develop their games to be able to scale down, as well as work at the normal model or normal baseline of performance. I think that would also undercut some of the appeal of PS5, which is, it's already ready for 8K, and it can run your Ultra HD Blu-ray discs, and it can do this, it can do that, it can make you coffee, all that. So for them to just say, okay, here's this smaller model, it's like $400, no disc, digital only, and the most it can do is 4K resolution. That's going to kind of shoot them in the. I think it'll shoot them in the foot a little bit.
Do you think that shoots them in the foot more than making another more powerful model and cost more?
Kind
of like their Pro, like a PS5 Pro.
Actually, you know what? Now that you mention it, it kind of fits in with the strategy. They raise the price of their initial consoles, and then they come out with a cheaper, less feature-rich version. Not at the price of the base console. They'll come in, maybe $50 to $100 less, and that will give an option, because honestly, I would hate to be a kid, non-working kid right now, because asking for anything like that for Christmas, woo! You want us to buy you a $600 or $700 console? How many games that come with? One. How many controllers? One. No. My parents be like, shit. If I hit the lotto, sure.
Or you're renting games for the rest of your life.
Yeah, exactly. Well, hell, that's what I did when I got a Super Nintendo. I rented games for like the first year and a half. I didn't own a game. But it's still a bizarre business decision. Yeah. And I would love to know the true reasoning behind it, because it damn sure isn't inflation.
We'll see what happens for the holidays. We'll see how fan base feels about it. Maybe it's not the first time that Jim Ryan PlayStation has backstepped their decisions, so anything can happen from here and there. So we'll just have to kind of sit back and see.